So here's a little story from Barron's. It's a breakdown of dividend paying stocks with the biggest payout ratios outperform buybacks. First of all, let me just say this. With the dividends that I've been collecting recently from the stocks that I hold, I have been purchasing more and more electric vehicle related stocks. Specifically, I've added shares of a company called Arrival because thanks to the crash, or I shouldn't say crash, but thanks to the bear market that we were in last week after the Federal Reserve announced, what they were planning on doing, and we also had a reaction to the unemployment numbers. We went into a little bit of a bear market. I was unscathed, thank you, because I'm an oil man. Some people think that oil stocks are pulling back, but guys, today was the summer solstice. We just officially got to summer. Summer's really supposed to start on the 23rd, but we just basically got to summer. And what you're really probably going to be facing eventually is some type of food shortage. And I know there's stories that are trying to talk about the fact that's not going to happen, but the reality is there are countries around the world that, because of what's going on in Russia versus Ukraine in the curb stomping, they are definitely going to be facing food shortages. And countries just like America, possibly Canada, other parts of North America, they may try to chip in order to ship food to some of these countries. So the thing about it is, what a lot of people aren't talking about is the fact that we got 4th of July coming up. People want to travel. People want to drive, cross-country road trips and stuff. I foresee that we're going to have some type of shortage because, first of all, we're sitting in a shortage right now. We've got baby formula shortage, tampon shortage, for God's sakes. So the mere fact that that's happening now means that during that part of the year when you have a massive ramp up of buying, like burgers, Franks, you never know. And I'm saying it right now. It's possible you could have a hamburger bun shortage or a Frankfurter bun shortage, or you could have some type of shortage in wheat-related products. I mean, we're already having them right now. There's nothing to say that we're not going to have shortages later. But that said, I don't want to get too far off topic. For more than 20 years, stocks with strong dividend payout ratios have acquitted themselves well against two important groups: companies that pay less of their earnings in dividends and firms that repurchase a lot of their shares. That's the conclusion of a recent research note by Credit Suisse. Companies that are returning more of their excess capital to shareholders in the form of dividends have historically seen and continue to see incredibly strong performance. That's because there's a move by most people to put their money into dividend-paying stocks, specifically because low interest rates have created an environment where saving your money in the bank is not profitable for you. Your money's not working for you if it's in the bank collecting fucking 1% interest. That's not work. Work is when you put your money into the stock market, somehow manage not to lose it, and you're able to collect dividends on your money. But anyway, this is in contrast to buybacks, which are often viewed by market participants as drivers of share prices. From what I can say, and somebody could always say I'm wrong about this, but from what I can say, watching what's happened with the share buybacks that these big tech companies did, thanks to Donald Trump's tax plan, basically making the environment good for them to do buybacks. It appears to me that when they're buying back their own shares, they're doing it because what they want to do is they want to control their share value. They want to make it so that they don't have these fucking like Redditors and these swing traders and these day traders. They want to make it so that these people have very little influence over their stock. You're not going to see anybody day trading Apple shares. You're not going to see people day trading Google or Amazon. And the reason why is because, first of all, those shares are really expensive. Second of all, they don't really move that much in short periods of time. Day traders are desperate to make it appear that they're making a lot of money when we've already seen scientific studies that have shown that day traders, in most cases, are barely making minimum wage, which means that if you break down how much they're barely making $15 an hour, or they're not even really making $36,000 per year. And we've actually got studies that show that. like based on the tax revenue data. So anyway, a dividend payout ratio, in this case, the percentage of earnings per share paid out in dividends, is a widely used metric by investors to get a sense of how much is being distributed to shareholders. The accompanying table includes a sample of companies that have high rankings for dividend payouts. So, Baker Hughes, they have a 2.0% dividend. 3M has a 4.1, and I've heard good things about 3M. The only downside is the price on some of these is kind of high. 3M's is $145 a share, 145.7 actually. McDonald's, $244 a share payout ratio, and then they show the dividend yield, 2.3, 2.4 for Medtronic. Huntington Bank shares, 4.6. So yeah, some of these have pretty high dividends. IBM is $133, but they have a 64.7 payout ratio and a dividend yield of 4.9. Duke Energy has a 3.5. S&P 500, which is an index fund, has a 1.6% dividend yield. Credit Suisse's May 29 note analyzed net buybacks and dividend payout ratios among companies in the S&P 500. For the latter, the research has calculated the percentage of earnings per share paid out in dividends over the trailing 4 years. The S&P 500, I should just mention, has taken a major dip because of that moron Elon Musk betting on fucking Bitcoin and causing Tesla's share value to dip so quickly after he did the stock split to get Tesla on the S&P 500 in the first place. That just goes to show you that, on any given Sunday, you can have somebody make really stupid decisions, and that can have disastrous effects. Anybody who follows me regularly knows I was pro-Tesla from 2012 right up until this asshole Elon Musk decided that he wants to bet on Bitcoin. At that point, I lost faith. Anybody who's investing in Tesla, chances are they're not investing in Bitcoin. If they were investing in Bitcoin, they wouldn't take their money and put it in Tesla. They'd have taken their money and put it in Bitcoin. Back when we had all those welfare checks coming out of the government, you had all these cryptocurrencies surging in value. It's as if nobody was going to stop and say, well, wait a minute, what's causing this surge in value? Where are these people getting this money from? And the bottom line is, I've said it until I was blue in the face. The government's printing out welfare checks. You got kids sitting at home getting their welfare checks. They're going on Robinhood, Webull, and Trust Wallet and gambling their welfare checks on your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your Litecoins, your Shiba Inus, your Volt Inus, all of this Ponzi scheme ass bullshit, which is designed by the person who makes the coin so that they can get rich quick and then pull the rug from under you and possibly evade the IRS and the SEC. That's what it really comes down to. And if those people, you got to remember, some people think that these people who are making these bullshit coins, they think these people are in America. A lot of times these people are living in foreign countries where America has no pull at all. Imagine right now if there's a bunch of these cryptos made by some Russian, and right now we are sanctioning Russia. We got all these problems with Russia. We got political prisoners in Russia. America is in no stance whatsoever to expedite any scammer out of Russia. In fact, if I was a crypto scammer in Russia and I scammed a bunch of American dumbasses out of their money, I'm pretty sure Vladimir Putin himself would pin the Medal of Russian Freedom on me. But that's what you're just dealing with. It's ridiculous. So anyway, it says next they divided those companies into thirds based on dividend payout ratio ranking. The higher the payout, the better the ranking. Let's see, anything else important there? Over the 20-year period from December 31st through 1999 to 2019, those companies in the top third by dividend payout ratio had an annual return of 10.9% versus 6.6% for the companies in the bottom third. So basically, it's like this. If you were putting your money in these common blue chip stocks like McDonald's, Walmart, basically, I've showed you my dividend list a number of times. I might even do it again for this video. Over the last, because I've been investing money since I was like 19. So if you had been doing this, you would have easily beaten the returns that you got from the bank. And if you did what I did and used your dividends to buy more stock, I mean, God knows what your portfolio would look like right now. But no, you wanted to invest in Shiba Inu. Okay, so anyway, the top-ranked companies on dividend payout ratios also outperform those stocks with a more robust buyback activity, 10.9 versus 9.3 on an annual basis. Since COVID emerged, meanwhile, the lower-ranked dividend buyback stocks have returned 9.5% compared with 6.2 for the top-ranked buyback companies. The more robust dividend buyback firms, however, outperformed over that 20-year stretch, 9.3 to 8.1. Okay, when you get this deep into the math, suffice to say, if you put your money, instead of just in a regular savings account, into these blue chip dividend stocks, the companies that have been around forever, McDonald's, let's say Procter and Gamble, the people, let's say, well, I see Medtronic. I don't really recognize them, but I do recognize IBM, Microsoft, Apple, obviously. You know, yes, this is a bear market right now. You don't hear me panicking, not like these people with this crypto shit who just lost, 30% of their value. I think crypto's right around 20,000 right now, in Bitcoin's case anyway. But the thing about it is, if you had put your money in these blue chip stocks, you would have gotten enough of a return that it would have actually felt like you had a real savings account. Now, me personally, I prefer to keep, 75% of my personal wealth in real estate. The reason why is because no matter what happens, I got a roof over my head. I got a roof over my tenant's head. If I want to, I can park my car in my backyard and there's nothing they can do about it. Like, it's mine. My name is on both titles. My name is on both deeds. When you've got that kind of asset, especially in a market like this where these newlywed couples are desperate to buy a house and the average house is going to cost them damn near $500,000. When you've got that kind of asset, and you got to remember, like, I don't really talk about race. I'm a 40-year-old black male, and I'm holding real estate. I got a ceiling fan. I talk about my ceiling fan because I thank God for my ceiling fan, because my ceiling fan is part of my roof. It's part of my ceiling. And, like, nobody can take my ceiling fan away from me. No landlord can tell me to get the fuck out. I can play my music as loud as I want, and nobody can do a goddamn thing. You know, I have a friend, when I've gone over to his apartment, or even, like, I've gone over to his apartment, I've gone over to his mom's apartment, and during certain times of the day, they tell me that I gotta be real quiet, and I gotta step lightly and shit. And I'm like, I gotta be quiet. It's like the middle of the day. Or sometimes it's like later in the day. And I'm like, this is bullshit. You know, you're renting this place and you gotta be fucking quiet for tenants? For some other tenant? I'm like, when I'm in my house, I can make as much fucking noise as I want. I could scream my head off when I'm making these videos. I could play my music as loud as I want. I could turn my television to 25% or whatever it is, 30%, 60%. If I want to turn up the speaker, I got Clips 2.1 speakers with a big-ass subwoofer. If I want to turn that shit up on my computer, I can do whatever I want. Whatever I want. When you've got real estate, you got dividends like you can't believe. Like nobody's going to talk about dividends in the form of, I could do whatever the fuck I want in here and nobody can say anything to me. I could go outside right now and do whatever I want. Like, there's nothing, like, this is my land. There's nothing nobody can do at all. Now, I know you can't disturb the public peace and all that. Like, you can't make too much noise. I know there's noise ordinances and all that. But, like, a landlord, there's no landlord to tell me, oh, yeah, well, you can't have pets or you can't paint. Like, I know people who are older and they have been around for a while. They've got some level of wealth, but they've got a fucking HOA, a homeowners alliance, who can literally tell them, oh, well, you can't put the Puerto Rican flag on your lawn, or you can't put your Jamaican flag on your lawn, or you can't put your Italian flag or your Irish flag on your lawn. And I'm like, you can't fucking tell me shit. Let me tell you something. My lawn out front, I got lawn, right? And I've got I only plant perennials because I don't like having to replant flowers every year. So when you plant these perennials, those things grow back every single year. And it appears that they actually grow back stronger every single year. Like I took a plant, moved it from my fence, moved it like closer to the house, and it started growing. And that plant has grown bigger and bigger and bigger each year. No joke. I only plant perennials because I'm kind of lazy. It's like, I like the orange flowers, the red ones. But the bottom line is I only plant perennials because this way you only do it once and they keep coming back. But you have some homeowners alliances who literally tell people what you can and can't plant in your fucking yard. If I want to put a flag out there, I can put whatever I want there. It could be something totally offensive. I could put that shit there and there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. I could take my ceiling fan, unbolt it, and put that shit right in my front yard and there's nothing you could do about it. A landlord could say, nah, I don't want that there. You're going to move that. Like, I can go tell my tenants, it's like, yeah, well, I know you want to paint the kitchen brown, but I don't like that color, so you're not doing it. And that's it. And there's nothing you can say at all to me at all because I own it. Real estate is the shit. Let me tell you something. Real estate is the shit. I fucking love being a real estate owner. I love it. I can walk in there with my pants below my ass and there's nothing you can say at all. I love it. But that said, when it comes to these dividends, the smart thing is to take that dividend money and to rebuy more stocks, different stocks, diversify your portfolio, and it keeps growing year over year over year. So right now, long story short, I've been putting more and more money into electric vehicle stocks. GM is at a low right now. Ford's at a low. And you gotta remember, I got into GM and Ford when they were like $5 back when the crash happened. So I'd been way up. Ford was paying the dividend 2% because it reinstated it. So the thing about it, this is a ground floor, again, for automotive. Still a ground floor for airlines because, as you know, we have pilot shortages. We've got, what is it called? We've got, they've been canceling flights because first of all, they got the pilot shortage. They've been canceling flights so that they can try to pack these planes and charge you more. So right now, airlines are not profitable. If you're looking to put money into something that you know you're going to flip later and you're not going to hold it too long, or maybe you do want to hold it long, airlines are also nice. And I feel like I'm repeating everything I said in 2020. Energy, automotive companies, airlines. And that's just how I feel about that. So, again, it's your money. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want with it. But this is the reason why when it comes time to pick up my Cadillac Lyric, I'm paying cash. I saw a guy, and I made a video about this guy. His license plate was, I pay cash. And he had a Dodge Challenger, but it wasn't a red eye. It was a 2018 Hellcat. I think it was a Hellcat. It could have been a Scat Pack. I can't remember at this point. I think it was a red eye. I can't even remember. Bottom line is he paid cash. Well, that's what I'm going to do. How did I do it? Not by betting on motherfucking Dogecoin or Shiba Inu. No. Not by watching half my money disappear in Bitcoin. No. Not by watching myself lose $1,900 in Ethereum. No. I bet on these dividend paying stocks. Okay, when I first saw this headline, I bust out laughing. So what I did was I specifically waited to read this story until I could turn on my recorder so that I could read this story and you could get authentic reactions, because this shit made me just laugh. It says 2022 tampon shortage. Majority Taylor Green blames men buying tampons for the tampon shortage. Okay, so this person, Bruce Lee. The guy's name is Bruce Y. Lee. It says, I am a writer, journalist, professor, systems modeler, computational and digital health expert, avocado. Nobody gives a fuck what you eat. And entrepreneur, not always in that order. Okay, great. So this is a picture of tampons. There's a tampon shortage for those of you who didn't know. It shouldn't be a big surprise that the U.S. is now facing a tampon shortage. After all, since early 2020, there have been shortages of, well, seemingly everything. Now, first of all, let me just say this. In the very beginning of COVID, for whatever reason, people were convinced to go out and start buying fucking toilet paper, despite the fact that diarrhea or constipation were never classified as like COVID-related illnesses. People decided to go out and buy up all the damn toilet paper. I did too. You remember I made videos about it. I ended up having enough toilet paper to last me from like March to December. And then I realized, it's like, wait a minute. There's no reason for me to have all this toilet paper. But anyway, the other thing they bought up was like bleach, Clorox bleach, and what was it called? Lysol. Now, that actually made sense because it was obvious we were going to need to do a lot of cleaning. But they bought up toilet paper, they bought up paper towel, they bought up bleach, they bought up Lysol, they bought up, obviously, soap. Then what the state decided to do is they decided to put these fucking prisoners to work, which they should have been doing in the first place. And they had them start making hand sanitizer, and they had them, I guess, start making other things that were COVID related. So that helped knock out the shortages, because the main shortages were cleaning supplies, face masks, and, a couple of other COVID related things like gloves, plastic gloves. But anyway, this has ranged from the great toilet paper shortage, of course, that coincided with the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, to shortages of personal protective equipment, cleaning products, yeast, bicycles. Yes, because a lot of people, they wanted things for their kids to be able to do at home. So they went out and they got bicycles. They also went out and got inflatable pools. And I noticed that there was a pool shortage because a lot of that stuff was coming from China. A host of other products over the ensuing 2 years, right up to the recent baby formula shortage. What may be more surprising, though, is who's being blamed for the tampon shortage, or perhaps it's not surprising at all given the current ongoing shortage of attention to facts and science. Okay. Some people have been referencing a comedian, men's restrooms, and the borders as reasons for the tampon shortage, which may sound like the beginning of a joke. In this case, the comedian is Amy Schumer, who starred in nobody gives a goddamn about Amy Schumer. She's not funny. As Alana Samuels described in a June 7th Time article, Procter & Gamble, the makers of Tampax, has essentially blamed Schumer for the tampon shortage. Yes, you heard that correctly, one celebrity. Now, if you're wondering whether Schumer herself cleared the shelves and billed first of all, Mr. Forbes, avocado eater, the word is built. It says, now, if you are wondering whether Schumer herself cleared the shelves and built a tampon fortress in her home, where's the editors? Where are the editors? Keep in mind that Schumer underwent surgery in 2021 to remove her sense of humor. To remove her uterus due to endometriosis. In other words, she no longer has a uterus nor a sense of humor. As Schumer reminded everyone in the following Instagram post, okay? I don't Oh, okay. I guess you're supposed to look. It says it says when I don't even have a uterus. It's like, listen, ladies, we don't need to hear this shit. Like, if you cutting stuff up, it's like, come on, we don't need to hear this. The uterus, based upon my knowledge of the biology books, it's that thing that looks like a U, and it's like a little flap. Like if you take your index finger and your thumb and you like kind of hold them towards each other and you make a shape like a U, that's what the uterus looks like. So anyway, instead, apparently, Procter & Gamble has claimed that Amy Schumer's "It's Time to Tampax" ad campaign for Procter & Gamble in July 2020 is what caused a surge in retail sales with Tampax, demand being up 7.7% over the past 2 years, according to Simuls. And this unexpected demand has outpaced Procter & Gamble's supply. Simuls added that the company is running its Auburn, Maine Tampax factory 24/7 to meet demand. That single factory reportedly makes all of their tampons, similar to how a single Dover, Delaware factory is responsible for the entire stock of Edgewell personal care tampons, including Playtex and OB brands. Meanwhile, Taylor Green, who's not officially a comedian, a scientist, or a supply chain expert, has laid the blame elsewhere, and one of those targets bordered on, well, you can see in the following June 13 tweet: "People who menstruate can't find tampons. Has anyone checked the warehouses at the border where all the baby formula is stocked floor to ceiling on shelves? Or maybe some men's restrooms. Apparently they are available there. Tampons, a necessity for many, are becoming harder and harder to find." Blah, blah, blah. As you can see, Telegreen wrote, "Has anyone checked the warehouses at the border where all the baby formula is stocked floor to ceiling? What in the Peachtree dishes does the border have to do with the tampon shortage?" My guess is, before I even get to it, my guess is she's trying to say that is so busy stocking the border with baby formula that we don't have any on the shelves. I don't know. Taylor Green's tweet went on with, "Or maybe some men's restrooms. Apparently they are available there. Are the men stuffing them up their asses? I'm not really sure. Before you get the gazpacho police to storm men's bathrooms to get you some tampons, let's hear what Taylor Green had to say about tampons during her recent broadcast." Okay, let's see. Majority Taylor Green falsely claims the tampon shortage is probably because men are buying tampons. Okay. In the clip, Taylor Green began with, "It's a raining men. Ha ha ha." Wait, it's raining men? Isn't that supposed to be, this must be wordplay, because rain means that you're ruling. And if you're talking about the song "It's Raining Men," then that's RAIN. I don't know. Okay, asserting that men have taken over everything, such as women's sports, presumably referring to transgender men. She then argued that the tampon shortage is probably because men are buying tampons. Next, the flow of conversation. This guy actually figured out a way to make something that should have been funny really boring. Are the guys stuffing these tampons up their ass or in their penis urethra or what? Like, I don't know. Try a war on evidence. Has Taylor Green provided any real... Okay, great. Okay, so I'm getting it now. Your whole idea was to attack Marjorie Taylor Greene because you don't like her. Bruce Lee. Why don't you just, fight her or something? Like why don't you just karate chop her or some shit, Bruce Lee? Anyway, like on that movie, Once Upon a Time in America. That was hilarious. All of this is essentially important for staple products, not things that go in staples, but things that are needed on a regular basis like tampons. Tampons aren't luxury goods like champagne trunks or sleeveless hoodies. You can't just say, okay, maybe I just won't buy tampons for the next several months. Well, actually, you really could, but anyway. To that, your body will simply tell you when tampons are needed, period. Ah, ha, ha, ah, ha, 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 ha. Ha, he put period there. That's funny. So with demand remaining quite continuous, any interruption in the flow of tampons to the shelves could result in the shortages being seen today. Thanks for nothing, Bruce. We had an update today. The Dow rose today 2.14% or 641 points. And that brought the price to 30,000. I'm sorry, the price of the Dow in points is 30,530 points versus What was it? The 52-week low was 29,740 points. Now, as you can see, this is my main dividend earners list. These are all the dividend paying stocks that I personally own. As you can see, Sunoco is at the top of the list. After that is AT&T, Verizon, Gilead, BP Oil, Citibank, Exxon, Chevron, Shell, Ford, JPM is JP Morgan Chase, Sanofi, so forth and so on. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, AIG, Insurance. I think this is COF, I think that's Capital One. Walmart, Logitech, Sirius, AXP is American Express. Nike, Microsoft, Oxy, Oil. I bought that because I saw Warren Buffett buy it, and sure enough, he's Warren Buffett. He knows more than me. Verizon, Apple, MasterCard, EA Sports, General Electric, and Nvidia. Now, as you go from top to bottom, the amount of the dividend payout gets lower and lower. Now, the reality is, when you go after a dividend stock that has a low price, but that pays a relatively high percentage, that's a good thing. Because I'll tell you, if you own more and more and more dividend paying stocks, what it's basically doing is you're building yourself a glorified savings account. And by saving your money in stocks specifically that pay dividends, if you look into your portfolio every now and then, you'll see that you're earning money that's coming back to you as cash. And you have a choice whether or not you want to take that cash, send it to your bank, or whether you want to take that cash and buy more stocks. Eventually, you can have a portfolio that grows and grows and grows and grows. And you never know what stock is going to become more and more popular and appreciate in value. You just don't know. So the thing about it is the more you hold, the more diversified you are. So if one of these sectors starts to go down, like let's say the tech sector starts to go down, chances are the energy sector won't. Or maybe the energy sector starts to go down. Chances are maybe the tech sector goes up. Maybe the auto sector goes up. Maybe the airline sector is down now, but it's not down 4 or 5 years from now. That's the way you have to diversify. And this is my dividend earners. And it's worth choosing. Maybe if you're starting out and you don't have a portfolio yet, maybe you just choose 4 or 5 and you just start putting your money towards just 4 or 5. And I guarantee you, when you start building yourself a serious portfolio, you can sit back just like me and you can enjoy your ceiling fan in your house, and you can have your electric car plugged into your house, and you can do whatever you want in your house. But up until then, you're just going to keep playing games with this cryptocurrency. You're going to be living in your mama's basement waiting for your next welfare check that's not coming. Biden promised you $10,000. The average person owes $40,000 or $50,000 in student loans. That $10,000 ain't going to do nothing. And that's just what it is. It's like I ain't waiting for nobody to bail nothing out. I bail myself out. It's like I carry my own bucket of dividend paying stocks.